And we're going to ask him to honor the mother by first of all, yes, to put on his mother's forehead. And I have to tell you, he's a wonderful son, very, very polite, and he's very, very nice boy, and I really appreciate being his stepfather, or you might say father. There's no step between us. Wonderful boy, and he loves his mother very, very much, and you know, he will do anything for her. And so tonight we give him the honor, putting that chandan, worship her as a devi. Om Sri Kandanang Chandanang Divyam Vidya. Oh, that's one, only one place. Don't spoil her face right now. And then you put that flower and you say, Mother, your life is as beautiful and lovely as this flower. Malakadi Sigandini Malayadi Navai Prabhu Mayaratani Pujartham Pushpani Pratigi Hatam. And as you wave this light here, what are you going to say to her? May the light always shine in your life. Always be bright. I want to see that smile always in your life. Okay, go ahead. Oh, Mani Kani Tapapani Janamanta Gavani Tani Tani Vinashanti Pradakshanae Pade Pade. No. Both hands. Right down to the bottom there. And you bless him good. And give him a big hug. Give God a big hand. What a loving son he is to the mother.
धरती पे रूप माँ बाप का उस विधाता की पहचान है। ये तो सच है कि भगवान है परम है मगर फिर भी अनजान है। धरती पे रूप माँ बाप का उस विधाता की पहचान है। जन्मदाता है जो नाम जिनसे मिला काम कर जिनके उंगली है बचपन चला। ओ काले पर बैठ के जिनके देखा जहा ज्ञान जिनसे मिला क्या बुरा क्या भला। इतने उपकार है क्या कहे ये बताना न आसान है। धरती पे रूप माँ बाप का उस विधाता की पहचान है। ये तो सच है कि भगवान है।
Happy birthday to you.
जन्मदिन मुबारक हो मैया जी।
And now, before we take some more bhajans, I have the distinct honor of asking my nephew, Dr. Andra Thakur, to say a few words, because he knows her very well. Since in Guyana we met the first time, and he was very nice and very considerate towards her and so on and so forth. And he knows a little bit about, so I wish he would come up here, Mr. Thakur, to say a few words. I should say Dr. Thakur.
Pandit ji, Mami ji, congratulations. Oh, and my other mommies over here too. Devotees, I will also see too many children around, and elders. It is a very auspicious occasion when we celebrate birthday. especially as we get older, for people like myself, as you get older, every birthday matters. In English, we call a birthday a rite of passage. And on several occasions, I had the opportunity or I've been asked or questioned to explain what is a rite. A rite is a ritual in English. A ritual, we don't have a proper word for puja, but a puja that is performed here is called a rite. This is a ritual, it is a rite, but importantly for us Hindus, this is a puja. And this is what we do to celebrate. And I'm so happy and pleased that there's been a little bit of transformation in us as Hindus, how we celebrate birthdays. Years ago in Guyana, I watched people celebrating birthdays elsewhere. Today it is being celebrated in Mandir, and I'm excited about this transformation. I'm more excited about being here in America, or being in Canada where I lived most of the last 52 years. I'm excited in that by some unexpected consequences on the act that transpired in Guyana around the late 60s and 70s, many people have been forced to emigrate. And the fact that we're forced to emigrate, we find ourselves in new communities. And for the 5 years I've been around here in Orlando Ocoee community, and I watched how Hindus comport themselves. One of the galvanizing agents, I can't find a better word, one of the galvanizing agents for Hinduism or for people in creating and maintaining community is the mandir. If we go and say in Upper Quarantine area where I am from in Guyana, we don't find half as what I found here. Why is that? Because a long time ago it has been predicted that Hinduism will survive. We Hindus do not go about proselytizing, that's a fancy word. We do not go about asking people to become Hindus. Recently, a lot of people have been asking us that I want to become a Hindu. But this has been predicted many, many, many years ago. And the rate and the speed with which Hinduism is being transformed or transplanted in North America excites my imagination. You know, when we were little, everybody would say, we don't know why your little pygmy go become. You know, hear that when all of us were little, our parents were worried, what will we become? But for the number of years I've taught all over the world, I tell my students, you are going to be better than I am. And if you don't, if your students are not better than you, you're a bad teacher. And our parents have been good parents. The first generation that came from India lived under adverse conditions in the plantation system. In Georgetown, in the 1930s and 40s, people were afraid to juke a bamboo in front of their home. I know that. I mean, I wasn't around in the 1930s. But people are afraid. When I went to work in Georgetown in the late 50s and early 60s, there were no bamboos. You hardly see any bamboos around the home. Go today and what you see. Did we go around asking people to? Do we go around forcing anybody to become Hindus? No, we have not. Now with my Mamiji here, look how she sits on like a star girl here. And the mom will go laugh, gil, 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 feeling happy about it all. He has a reason to be. I'd be happy myself. But wherever we go, and any place that we go and we take that level of piety with us, that piousness we carry with us. In Fiji, you see exactly the same thing. In South Africa, I've seen exactly the same thing. Every place in the world where Hindus are, we see the same thing. The intensity of the transformation and transplanting of Hinduism throughout the world. So, as I said before, long ago when I was in Guyana, people go elsewhere to celebrate birthday. I don't want to tell you where they go. You all know where they go to celebrate their birthdays and how they celebrate it. Today, when we celebrate birthdays in Mandurah, it is elated and it's an exciting thing for us to do. I would want to thank the people who manage this Mandurah, because we live in such a small community, and around the Okoye community, here I go to one Mandurah where I am, but around this community there are so many Mandurahs, which says if it is a galvanizing agent and we're going to transform, and I hope, or one of the intention of the Mandurahs and the teachers in the Mandurah is to transplant it onto the next generation. That's what we need to do, is to ensure its continuity. But like I said, I'm assured that the next generation is going to be better than we are, because they have much more at their disposal. I grew up in a Hindu home. My mamu here. His mother grew me, attended to me from the year I was 1 until I was 4. But when I heard that he's coming along, when my grandmother was pregnant with him, I decided I was going to leave because I couldn't stand him. So I ran away from my nanny's home when I was 4 years old. But you grow up with this. I lived for a number of years abroad, and where I lived there were no Hindus. Can I talk a little more? Or should I stop? Where I lived in Africa, there were not too many Hindus, but in me it survived. Everything a child knows, everything we know, and all my professors have this on their door. Anything and everything I knew, I learned in kindergarten. Anything and everything I knew, I learned in kindergarten. And who are the mothers in pre-kindergarten? Who are the teachers? I'm sorry. It's the mothers. It is the mother who are the teachers in pre-kindergarten. In English, again in fancy language, when we teach, we call it the dyad. Di means two. The dyad is the bonding between the mother and the child. Educate a daughter, educate a girl, and you educate a generation. Educate a daughter and educate a girl, and you educate a nation. You educate a guy, you don't know what they're going to do, or which shop they're going to go in for happy hour. You want to come here, take the microphone from me just now. I'll give you the microphone. That's how my family are.
Mata Shatru, you said mother is enemy, but she's not enemy. She's everything. Pita by father don't have time. Mother have all the time.
Acha, Mami ji, aja.
No, you say it.
Aja.
You only tell him to say it. Come on.
No, my friends, you can talk on and on. But I am excited. I'm very pleased with what I see here in this little part of Florida. I'm excited because we can assure, for those of us who struggled, and those of people like myself who've been in the business of transforming knowledge and transforming education, you want to make sure that those who get it keep on spreading it. When I lived in Canada, people would come at our home at the end of August. There were hundreds. All the new students would come, and our house was the dumping ground. They all come to our house. And people come, you do what you want, you feed them, you keep them for a couple of weeks, you find a place until they move on. I met a top-ranking lawyer not too long ago in Trinidad, and he said to me, as long as you're in Trinidad, anywhere you go, I'll give you this card, you just charge anything you want to me, because you kept me in your house for 2 weeks. You kept me in your house for 2 weeks when I first came to Canada. You did not charge me a cent, you gave me a place to sleep. I said, let me tell you, did I done anything for you? He said, and he introduced me to 12 of the top, what you call them, criminal lawyers in Trinidad. I said, let me tell you, if I done anything for you, you go and do it for 5 other people. Go and do it for 5 other people. That is what we need to do. Let it be radiated in the community in which we live. Feel pleased about yourself. Feel happy about yourself. And Mamuji was talking earlier about medicine and healthcare. And for 20 years, I teach a course called Medical Anthropology. And all my research in that tells me that stress is the greatest killer in North America. Stress is the greatest killer. Now, how do we prevent stress? I take on stress all the time because if I have a task to do, instead of doing it in 4 hours, I'll try and done it in 3 hours. That's the worst thing we do to ourselves. I was doing research in Thailand. I went to one of the temples, and I met a Buddhist monk. I was doing research in medical anthropology. I went to interview this Buddhist monk, and I met him. And while I was going in, on top of the temple, they were putting on this gold-plated thing. And Thailand is really a fascinating country to study. And I asked the monk, after we sat down and we sat down and we started to chat, we said, how long would this take you to finish? He said, I will ask you. And I should have known the answer to the question I asked him. I said, how long would this take you to finish? He said, when you're building anything, when you're doing anything, don't put a time limit on it. As soon as you put a time limit and you cannot finish it, you begin to stress yourself. Don't we all do that? And in North America, we do that all the time. You get $450 in the bank. You want not a $50 more to make it $500. You get $5 million, $4.5 million. You want another $500,000 to make it $5 million, right? And so you work yourself to death in order to do that. High paisa, high land, high money, high this, high that. We all want more of it. We take it against it. Didn't one of the writers of the song said, I think it was Hari Om Sharan, says, Na koi tira hai, na koi mera hai. It does not belong to you, it does not belong to me. A couple of days ago I had, and the last thing I'm going to tell you now, so. A couple of days ago I was telling a story about my grandfather was 4 years old. I told him before he was born. My nanny took her urni and she making me into a little pandit. She took her urni and she tied me into a dhoti, and I went and I sat down and I was looking after the kund. And my nana was telling a story. He was talking high-level philosophy, which 20 years later I began to learn what he was saying. And my nana had a grade 4 education. He says, is this mine or is it mine? M-I-N-E and M-I-N-D. Is it mine? Do I own it? Or is it mine? Is it mine? So his audience didn't understand, as some of you struggling to understand what I am saying. His audience was struggling with it. You know what my nana did? He took out a pen from his pocket. Now he said, is this mine? M-I-N-E, does it belong to me? Or is it the ownership is in my mind? We don't own nothing, the ownership is in our mind. People tell you your children are not your children. The money is not your money. The land is not yours, the house is not. We're all going to leave it alone. Yet at the same time, we hold on to it so tightly. What a picnic go do with them when we gone? They go build Huawei. Mommy, I'm here to talk about Mommy, and I'm starting to talk about her. I want to congratulate you on this, your birthday. Look at this radiating beauty here. Congratulations. I want to thank you all very much for tolerating me, because I keep ranting on and on all the time. Thank you all very much, okay?
Praise the Lord, Sri Mahavira Swami ki. I think we'll take up our this song now. Who's going to sing it?
Hey, no, Mommy.
It's okay.
Okay, oh yes. That's right, we'll get Mommy.
Just now.
Don't worry, after that is you.
But Mommy, tell him what we said just now.
Don't worry with him.
How long will continue learning?
I know.
Huh? Tell
I
me.
will work on you next.
And then
Bhajan, let me take a bhajan lead. Bhajan. And mommy is gonna talk.
It's okay.
Who's gonna sing? Who's gonna sing?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Pandit Rukesh gonna sing a bhajan. A birthday bhajan.
Maji Janamdin Mubarak ho on this Mangalvar, on this day of auspiciousness. Mangal means auspiciousness, and this is a day where Hanumanji grants you immense bal buddhi vidya. May he grant you another year filled with strength, divine knowledge, wisdom, and may he grant you all the happiness, sukh shanti, amar prem, happiness, peace, and unconditional love always. And this one is for you. बार बार दिन ये आए, बार बार दिन ये गाए, बार बार दिन ये आए, बार बार दिल ये गाए, तू जिए हजारों साल है मेरी है आरज़ू. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Manji. Happy birthday to you. बार बार दिन ये आए, बार बार दिन ये गाए, तू जिए हजारों साल है मेरी है आरज़ू. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Manji. Happy birthday to you. बेकरार हो के दामन थाम लूं मैं किसका, क्या मिसाल दो मैं तेरी, नाम लूं मैं जिसका. नहीं नहीं ऐसा हंसी कोई नहीं है जिस पे नजर रुक जाए, बेमिसाल जो कहलाए, तुझे हजारों साल है मेरी है आरज़ू. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Manji. Happy birthday to you. बेकरार हो औरों की तरह कुछ मैं भी तो फराज लाया, मैं तेरी हंसी महफिल में फूल लेके आता. जिने कहा उसे क्या है फूलों की जरूरत, जो बाहर खुद कह जाए, हर कली का दिल भर गाए, तुझे हजारों साल मेरी है आरज़ू. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Manji. Happy birthday to
Check it out.